Hey, hey Capricorn, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your February 2025 love and family reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Capricorn. All right, you're coming out of something here, or perhaps you're leaving something behind. You have the heartbreak card in the past position, so it does look like you were deeply hurt by a family member, a lover, or even a relationship. There may have been a breakup, a separation, or an ending that had occurred. Some of you, this could even be the loss of a loved one, and you went through a period of grief. You went through a period of feeling a bit lost. Yeah, Five of Swords in the reverse tells me you're coming out of this because you have some new options out there now. You have gained valuable insight over a situation that has occurred in the past. Again, the heartbroken card here is in your past position. In your present energy, you have key on a ring. This talks about having options. It talks about unconventional approaches moving forward. So that tells me instead of holding yourself back, you have some new ideas. You have some new ways of thinking, unconventional ways of doing something here. Now, of course, this can be one night stands. It can be being or feeling strung along. I don't get that here for you. I feel like it more has to do with the Seven of Cups energy where there's some new options moving forward. And perhaps you are ending or getting rid of any energy that doesn't feel consistent, right? It feels like you want a more solid, genuine spiritual connection moving forward. And in your forward or future position, you do have Cupid's arrow. And I love this because it reminds me of the Valentines that you would give as a kindergartner. You'd make a shoebox and you'd stick some special Valentines in it. It feels like this is coming in for you here, where you could be struck by love. There could be even an admirer coming in here for you, Capricorn. This could be a surprise invitation for those of you that, are in a relationship, or for those of you that are single. Love is here, or love is coming in. Have faith. But right now, it does look like the heart is still trying to open up. The heart, they're showing me a lotus, and it feels like that lotus is slowly starting to open after it was closed. And I feel like your heart was very, again, hurt. It's like you went through some pain or grieving process. And I feel like you are wrapping up a cycle of your life. So if you are, for example, single, you could be wrapping up that single life and meeting someone, and you may go exclusive. You may not be single, 6 weeks from now. For others of you, if you are currently in a relationship, you may say, has this relationship expired? Have I outgrown this dynamic? And there could be a breakup on the horizon. Let's keep going with this. Yeah, look at death. We have the death card. There is a spiritual transformation coming in nonetheless, regardless of relationship status. This is about a new beginning. You've had to be strong. Look at that, the strength card. It's like you've been forced to be strong in a way. This is about vulnerability as well. I always say vulnerability is our greatest strength. To love after loss, to open up after we've been hurt, to be able to trust after we've been betrayed. So you have seen both sides of situations here. You know what it's like to be heartbroken, but you also know that you want to love, and that love is capable of healing on such a profound level. Look at what we have, the sun in your environment. This makes complete sense. I love that your reading is really aligned with your key themes. So yeah, we do see that there's been something you've gone through, but that's what you're putting to an end. That hurt, that depression, that feeling of despair. I'm even getting hopelessness. Capricorn, for those of you that have felt stuck in that energy here, there is a new beginning on the horizon, or there's a feeling of warmth and abundance with that sun. There is a feeling of confidence and success as you really tune into what makes you happy. That's what this year is all about. The North Node in Pisces is us asking ourselves, does this feel right? Does it feel aligned with my path? Does this relationship feel authentic? Do I feel in love? And I feel like you've been asking yourself some of those bigger questions. What's the outcome here? Oh, I love that outcome. Stick with me here, Capricorn. Bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. What you are getting rid of in your life is anything that feels one-sided. So again, if you've been putting in all of the energy, if you've been reaching out to that family member or that friend, you are the only one that's making an effort. I feel like you're saying, wait a second, why am I always the one that is dishing it out? It takes two. And that's what the Six of Pentacles is all about. Equal exchange, equal give and take. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We're in this together. There is no I in team. So Capricorn, I feel like you are shedding relationships that are very much one-sided. You are shedding possibly even boundaries that have been loose, like loose boundaries that may have caused you to enable certain behaviors or enable people to take advantage. Now, again, not saying that that's what you wanted by any means, but sometimes that's why boundaries are there. That's why boundaries are put in place, because it is about respect, right? Respecting, this is my dance space, this is yours. And I do see boundaries has been a lesson that you've been learning over the course of your lifetime here. And I love in the background, we have a music stadium. So some of you could be meeting someone at a music concert or a festival. You may be visiting the mountains. There could be camping going on here, but it says love more, love more. So that is showing up at the bottom of the deck. This is what's bubbling to the surface, is more love. Now, we already talked about the heartbreak card. You already know what this is for you. It's going to be different for each and every one of you. It could be, an argument that really set the tone for a lot of harsh words or a lot of actions that caused you to feel very disappointed in someone or in yourself. This could have been a breakup. This could have been a loss. You name it. It's here. Now, in the present, you have an option here. You have an option to either close down the heart and settle for maybe less than you deserve, or you have an option because the key is in your hand. You hold the key here. This is your life. This is your beautiful heart, Capricorn. What do you want to do with it? That's what the option is saying here. And I feel like the unconventional piece of it is not listening to what everybody else thinks is what's best for you. Not listening to, things that come at you that may be falsified, or it could be lies, or it could be dishonesties, or all that pain coming in the unconventional way for you, perhaps due to your default mode, meaning the mode that you kind of fall back on because you've been conditioned to believe a certain way. I feel like you're taking that unconventional approach and you're saying, what if? What if I looked at something from a new perspective? What if I started to believe the story that I deserve happiness, that I can have a family, that I can attract healthy, functional relationships? I see you telling yourself a new story, and what this new story is all about is opening that heart to love. And that's what's happening on this heart, is it is opening to get to that bare center. Beautiful. You see that it's darker red in the middle here. So I feel like there's an opportunity for you to really get to the mushy gushy goodness of some sort of love opportunity here. Now you have the Five of Swords in reverse, which tells me that you're walking away. It's like you're choosing your battles. What battles do I continue fighting for? Because by fighting, it's going to get better, which is rarely the case. But, sometimes it's that relationship that, maybe there's been some hardship, there's been some ups and downs, but the both of you love each other enough to work together and not let the ego come in and cause one to disrespect or encroach into boundaries or to hurt each other, where you both feel like you have to protect your heart. Look at these two children. They are sitting there in the fetal position. Why do we sit in the fetal position? We'd sit in the fetal position because we're scared. We're protecting our hearts, our vital organs, our lungs. And I feel like you are, you've been in a state of a battle. There's been a battle here of the ego, and I feel like you're done with it. You're like, wait a second, I'm not 8 years old anymore. I don't need to use that same defense mechanism, the shut down or avoidant or enabling some sort of behaviors or whatever it may be, whatever your defense mechanisms that you learned very early on, typically fight, flight, or fawn. We can fight, we can be aggressive, we can be angry, we can let things, really build us up where we explode, or we can flight, we can become avoidant, we can shut down, or we can fawn. We can be a people pleaser where we take care of everyone else's needs except our own. And that is detrimental when we do not put ourselves first. And I see with this being in reverse, you're saying, wait a second. What defense mechanism am I using in these relationships? With my family, with my mother, with my child, with my father, with my spouse, with even new people that I meet. And that's what you're addressing, and you're saying there's another option here. I don't have to constantly revert back to my reptilian brain and have to protect myself because I'm safe, I'm secure. I've worked on this as an adult. So crossing your path here, you have the King of Cups. This may be why you shut down in the first place. Some of you, this has to do with a father. Perhaps an emotionally absent father, perhaps one that was an addict, one that was an alcoholic. For others of you, this is someone who is cold, untrustworthy, someone who should have had the capacity to open up their hearts because that was the role that they were meant to play, but for whatever reason, they were not capable of doing so. And that has affected you. It has affected relationships around you, within you, family dynamics. But I see here, Capricorn, that you are strong, that you are brave, that you have what it takes to cut through that trauma. And you've heard of post-traumatic stress, which some of you have. But there's also a term in psychology called post-traumatic growth. And it means that you're taking that experience and you are becoming a better version of yourself because of it. And you're healing possibly others around you by sharing your knowledge, or healing or breaking generational patterns or cycles. So I am so proud of you, Capricorn. If you haven't already, give yourself a hug. Hold yourself tight and let your inner child know that you are safe, that you are loved, and that you will never, never abandon little him or her. All right, below you, the world. This has been an ongoing cycle, a long time coming here. There's a new beginning, and I love that the world is showing up below you, because the world, you don't get there overnight, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, and I feel like this has been a long journey, prolonged cycle, and maybe even a delayed sense of gratification when we're constantly living in that state of fight or flight or survival mode, if you will. It affects us on all levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I feel like you don't have to live that way any longer. You don't have to stay in this heartbreak. All right, you can learn how to navigate through this heartbreak. Now, does it mean that we're healed and life is great and there will never be a hard note in our life? No, absolutely not. But what it does mean is you don't have to sit there and fester in the pain. You don't have to sit there and let it soak into your every fiber of your being. That's what you've completed, because you have healed enough to know that that experience or that situation does not define you. It can help you become a better version of you. And that's the truth. That's why you have the Ace of Swords here, Capricorn, in your recent past. Because the Ace of Swords is the breakthrough, is the logic, is the truth, is the brain as well, right? And we have We have that reptilian brain that I spoke of that does try to protect us. It gets back into those primal energies. And I feel like your nervous system has been in that overload mindset for quite some time. And you're telling yourself a new story. The story of happiness. The story of the 10 of Cups. This is the ultimate blessing. This is marriage. It's happiness. It's community. It's togetherness. It is connected to your loved ones. It is feeling a part of a soul tribe, feeling a part of a family dynamic. You have this available to you. And sometimes it doesn't look traditionally the way that one would think. But you don't have to be traditional here. Some of you, yes, it's going to be, but you can also go the unconventional way. Some of you are adopted, or you could be adopting a child. You may have been in an orphanage, okay? Something about orphanage, or some of you left your country to go to someplace that had more opportunity here. I also see if you come from a split family, or perhaps some of you may have a mother who's still living and a father who's crossed over, or vice versa. But I do feel like you're feeling the love. You are feeling the warmth coming in. And if you haven't already, I mean, this is happening for you. The timing, let's get a timing card. We have Leo energy showing up, and you have a lot of major arcanas. You have Leo twice, so that could be a really big time. July and August, Capricorn, feels like that's when you fully start to embrace the full-on happiness for some of you. We also have here, we have Aquarian energy, we have Capricorn, we also have Scorpio. So in the near future, we have the Death card. Don't let this death scare you, because what it's leading towards is the sun. You know, death and rebirth. Death is an illusion. We are immortal. Our souls are immortal. And even though there are endings that happen in our lives, that doesn't stop the world, right? The world keeps on spinning. And you too will keep on moving forward here. And I feel like you are embracing a new path. There are endings and beginnings all over here in your reading. And I see here that this is a total transformation. You've gone through some very heavy things, but this is you coming out on the other side. This is big. Now, in your energy, you have the Strength. The Strength is one of my favorite cards, because strength isn't something we're necessarily born with, right? It is something that we discover along the way. It is something that, you know, we have to stay compassionate and vulnerable towards. As I always say, you know, vulnerability is our greatest strength, as I mentioned earlier. And I see that you have that inner strength to overcome difficulty because you've overcome it before. And you are brave enough to face these fears. This is also the energy of fight or flight. It's also about self-doubt. But the fact that it's showing up in the upright position says you're going to face what you need to in order to head towards the sun. The sun is the happiest energy. You see that it reminds me of Zimba. Zimba holding Zimba up. And that's what she's doing, is holding her child up to the sun. So it feels like for some of you, this is around family and children. For others of you, it's around your own inner child, healing that inner child here that we talked about in the beginning, and having this moment of epiphany or enlightenment. And for some of you, it's not just a moment. It's not just one thing. It's a compilation of everything that one day you wake up and you're like, whoa, wait a second. It doesn't feel as heavy. It doesn't feel as difficult as it once did. Like, I'm going to be okay. I am okay. And then you start to rewire your brain. You start to rewire that neuroplasticity. And I feel like you're telling the story of happiness and of survival, not victimhood, of survival. Like, I came out of this and I'm stronger because of it. Yes, you are. Now, what's the fear? The Queen of Swords in reverse is cold. She's gone cold. When she's in reverse, she is cold. She can be ruthless. She can be blunt. She shuts everybody out. She takes that sword and kind of holds herself up in this space of darkness at times. But when she is in the upright, the hope is that you can turn that logical mind of yours into, again, new belief systems that will help her move forward, that will strengthen the courage that it takes to move forward. That story that we've been talking about here. Now, what is your outcome? The Fool. Capricorn, beautiful energy here. This is the Fool. So not only do you have the death and rebirth, you have the world and a new beginning. So a lot of you, you're cutting through the fluff here. Now, if you are single, I feel like you could be meeting someone that you marry, that this goes all the way, happily ever after. 10 of Cups. All right, there is love after loss. For those of you that are in a marriage or a connection, there could be an ending, all right? There could be a breakup. There could be an ending coming in. But that ending is what is going to bring you happiness long term. 10 of Cups, right? That's going all the way. So even if it feels like there's a dream or something that's been kind of shattered in a way, I feel like it's going to free you. This Fool is very freeing. You've completed a cycle. There's a message here of completion. For whatever reason, well, I think it's because of that 5 of Swords, that wounded child or the conflict or the ego or whatever that 5 of Swords represents for you. Sometimes it can be someone taking advantage. It can be someone who's selfish, revenge, anger, rage. It can be manipulation, deceit, resentments, walking away from, conflict as you're doing. And I feel like you've been dealing with that. Therefore, you are not feeling like you have to stay committed to this union because of A, B, or C. There's a release here. And this release is everything. So death and rebirth, you're going through some stuff right now. Trust your inner self. The Fool is the soul self. It's not quite a number, right? It's a 0, which is, kind of taking a look at everything yet. We're not quite in that 1 energy of the magician. And I feel like your soul self is saying you have the potential to embrace the 10 of Cups and the Sun, because that's what's above you. That's what's showing up in your environment. Yes, we have this death and rebirth showing up in your near future, but this is coming out of the situation that's been difficult, coming out on the other side. This is the rebirth part of it. This is the new beginning part of it. Not staying in that past, not staying in that cycle. So the Fool is also about travel. It's about curiosity. It's about self-discovery. And that is your advice at this time. Open yourself up to discovery. Open yourself up to, the options that are available to you at this time. All right, let's get a final message from the wisdom of the Oracle. What do we have here, please, for Capricorn? Capricorn. You have Observer, card 49. And this is about, seeing something that may have been an illusion, okay, with the Moon card, or it could also be trusting deep, deep in your subconscious, because we're getting to the heart of a matter. You see there on the Cupid's arrow, this says have faith. Love is coming in. Surprise invitations, struck by love. This is about you observing, and I see that you may feel a little bit skittish, okay? That may be why you're observing love at this time. You may be saying, can I trust this? Can I really open myself up to this new beginning? Some of you may, again, be 49 years old. This is about perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. Most people see the world through a personal lens. They closely identify with their feelings and experiences so much so that they come to believe that these are the only reality. There are times when you need distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to be begin to do some exploring. There's the Fool, like get exploratory here. And we have the Death card, which is also, about a pause. There's that pause, just like the caterpillar and the butterfly. There's that cocooning process. But because I feel like you're coming out of the cocoon, you're about to spread your wings. For those of you that still feel like you're in the cocoon, this is a perfect moment for you to begin to do that exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about the conditions, people, culture, and environments that you are engaged with now, including ones of the past, because we have some wounded children here. Whether this is your own inner child or it could be your own children here. You'll be so happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. What is the illumination card in tarot? The sun. That is beautiful. You're seeking something here with the Ace of Truth. You're seeking, maybe common ground or neutrality. Can we come up with an agreement? Can we come up with, some sort of negotiation for those of you that are dealing with someone that is problematic or troubling? And for those of you that are getting out of that, I do feel like you will be very happy. As I mentioned, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in the way. Feelings can get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person says another. It can be like an echo of an unresolved past experience dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connections. And we have faith here on Cupid's arrow because there's something about an intention. You may not even see it. We don't often see Cupid's arrow. We don't often see behind the scenes, but you're about to. That's why there is an uncovering of the heart. And I feel like that arrow is going straight to the meat and potatoes here, straight to the center of the ooey gooey heart. It says here, let's see, where did we leave off? Have faith in your connection and trust that you can come together. Take to higher ground now and cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself and in others and in the landscape. You will find things much improved sooner than you know. And for those of you that may still feel a bit stuck in a fear-based energy, or not even just fear, but this heartbreak, because you could be still on the one side here of the death. You could be on the death part, not the rebirth part. This message is for you. Ever think sometimes your life options are suction cupped to your face and you just can't see beyond yourself? There's a big world out there. Here it is. There's the world in your energy. There's a big world out there. A multitude of potential realities that you're unable to perceive at present time. So you're a little stuck. It's time to get advice from someone you trust, someone who has a better perspective of your circumstances. Other points of view are needed now before you move forward. Take heart. A beautiful vista is waiting for you to drink it in. You just need a little help widening your scope beyond your small self. For those of you that need a little help, a little boost, a little kick to get up there, seek that person out, whoever that may be for you, whether it's a healer, a coach, a mentor, a therapist, a friend, a family member, because you are getting there. And what's on the other side, here's the vista that you drink from. A lot of happiness. Now, Capricorn, that is what I have for you, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this message resonates, please hit the thumbs up. It certainly helps the channel. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there to those that need it most. Thank you again for tuning in. Lots of love.